with a young child curled up in your lap, but don't forget about your older children. They also need encouragement to read. So set aside some time to read together and help your child achieve and succeed.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association in this station.
My dream was to work in commercial banking, but it required a college degree and I didn't have one. I found out that Doane had classes for adult learners on the Lincoln campus and online. So I earned my bachelor's degree, and 5 months later, I landed my dream job. I decided to continue my education, and now I'm working on my MBA at Doane. For me, the Doane experience has been life-changing.
Okay, it's time to sell the house. How do we even begin to choose from the hundreds of realtors in town?
Easy. We make a pros list.
You mean a pros and cons list?
No, just a pros list. We need someone with pro photography to showcase the house in the best possible way, pro marketing to make sure we get maximum exposure, pro negotiations so we know we get the best price.
This is one of those times where you already know the right answer, isn't it?
You know it is. Ben Bleicher and Professional Realty Group.
Contact Ben Bleicher and the team at Professional Realty Group of Berkshire Hathaway's Home Services Ambassador. Online at prg-ne.com.
Introducing The Outlet by Sartor Heyman. The Outlet brings you luxurious Sartor Heyman quality jewelry at unbeatable prices. Shop our expansive inventory of overstocked merchandise and a vast estate collection that just hasn't found its home yet. This is your chance to own stunning designer jewelry at a fraction of the cost. Elevate your style at The Outlet by Sartor Heyman, where luxury and affordability meet. Downtown at 12th and O or online at sartorheyman.com.
Hey, it's Chad of the Nutrition Authority inviting you to stop in and check out the all-new complete post-workout recovery, CPR. CPR is ideal for anyone who works out or competes and wants to maximize results. CPR can only be found at Nutrition Authority. Stop in today and try a free sample or visit us at mynutritionauthority.com.
With the Planet Fitness Black Card, you don't just get a great workout, you get a great perk out because your membership is packed with perks. For $1 down and $24.99 a month, you'll get perks like access to any of our 2,400 clean and spacious locations. Bring your friend anytime and both work out with tons of equipment that'll give you that big fitness energy. Relax in the Black Card spa and more. Work out and perk out with the PF Black Card. Join for just $1 down and $24.99 a month. Hurry,
this deal ends soon.
See Home Club for details.
Nebco is hiring CDL drivers for ready mixed concrete, Husker Concrete, and Beatrice Concrete. Nebco offers great pay, medical and retirement benefits, paid time off, and they pay for CDL training. Apply today and start your new career with a $2,500 hiring bonus. From Nebco's beginning in 1908, it's the employees that have formed the company's solid foundation. Start your career today. Visit nebcoinc.com. That's NEBCOINC.com.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Live from the heart of Lincoln, America. Welcome to Ticket Weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hello and welcome into the Daily Nebraskan Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. I'm Ben Droz, one of the sports writers at the Daily Nebraskan, and I'm joined here, like every Monday night at 11, by Anthony Rubik and Marissa Cross, two of the assistant sports editors at the DN. Guys, how are you doing tonight?
Doing well.
Yeah, doing well. How about you, Ben?
Oh, I'm doing dandy. My bracket sucks, but I don't care, because everything's fine. Everything is okay. I was really none of my upset picks were right. But we're getting into that next segment because this first segment we want to be specifically about the Husker basketball teams. We'll start with the men's. Men's basketball team loses to Texas A&M. Tough loss, but I just want to get your initial thoughts on was it a disappointing game or are you looking at it like this season was something we haven't seen in a while, and you're looking at it in a positive light? How are you looking at the men's basketball team after the game?
Yeah, I'm definitely on the latter side there. The loss, the way it happened was kind of brutal. It was just a very disappointing game, especially after the first, 5 or so minutes where it looked like, if anything, it was just going to be a shootout or Nebraska, built a 7-point lead. And then just the whole rest of the way, it was all Texas A&M. But I don't think that takes away from just how great of a season it was for Nebraska, how historic this season truly was, even though they couldn't get that first tournament win. There's still just so much good that happened over the year, and then so much promise that this team showed about the future of Nebraska going forward. So while the loss was a little disappointing, I'm definitely proud of this team, and I'm excited to see him going forward.
Marissa, how about you?
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of have to partly agree and partly disagree. I don't know. It's really tough. I mean, that NCAA win was, I think, kind of the biggest thing that was on their back, and they didn't get that, and so it's still on their back for another season, and it's not going to be the same team next year. I'm not saying they can't make it to the NCAA tournament again, but it is going to be a different team. So I don't know. I think I was more on the disappointment side, just with all the hype going into the tournament, especially around the national attention of Tominaga and just all of that, and then to end in that brutal fashion, I think was a little tough.
So my initial reaction, if you would have told me heading into the game that Nebraska would have lost, I would have been really disappointed. Because this was the year to do it. Like, this was the year. Tominaga, senior season, brought in Mast, brought in Alec. Wilcher's was playing good. Juwan Gary looks great. Like, it just felt like this was the season it was finally going to happen. But it was just the way they lost. I'm not as disappointed. Texas A&M just played out of their minds.
Yeah.
Like, if Nebraska would have played bad and lost, that would have been one thing. Nebraska didn't play its best game, but they ran into a Texas A&M team that probably had their best game of the year. Like, that's not even like over exaggerating. Like, that was one of the best games Texas A&M played the entire year. Like, if a team like that is shooting that well from deep, they're just so hard to beat. You saw Houston barely beat them, and they're one of the top teams in the nation. Like, it's disappointing, yes, but Texas A&M really turned it on in the tournament. So it is disappointing from the aspect that they still are the only Power 5 team to not have an NCAA tournament win, but Texas A&M they played so good. So it's hard for me to be mad when they put it all out on the floor.
Yeah, Texas A&M, if you would have told me before the game that they would shoot 56.5% from three, I wouldn't have believed you. I mean, they were one of the worst shooting teams all season. And I think Wade Taylor started, 6 of 6 from deep, or might have been 5 of 5. He
Something
just
like that.
Was on another level. Also, Manny Obaseki, Tyrese Radford. It was just a great game from them. And, they are one of the hottest teams in the country, or they were one of the hottest teams before last night. And that's just really kind of a disadvantage Nebraska had, being paired up against just a team that had won 5 out of his last 6. And the one loss was in the SEC tournament semifinal. You see it with other teams, like NC State is in the Sweet 16. They were one of the hottest teams in the country. They got paired up with just with a team that was just on fire going into the game. Whereas Nebraska, had a good end to the season, but hadn't really played much. Maybe you kind of look at that back half of their schedule, not really being challenged that much. And then looking at the Illinois game, the second half of it, really quite similar defensive wise as the whole Texas A&M game. So, there's just a lot going against them. And at the end of the day, the Aggies just played better basketball.
Yeah, it's just like Texas A&M. So some comments I've seen is it's like Nebraska's just not athletic enough. Texas A&M just looked like the more athletic team. They just overpowered Nebraska. They were more aggressive than Nebraska. But Nebraska, It's just the fact that Nebraska has never had to play a team like that all year. And then you get thrown a team that's that aggressive, that plays that way, and they shoot lights out from 3-point line. It's just like Nebraska just hasn't seen that all year. And that's just that's such a tough team to beat. Like, again, they almost beat Houston. And I have Houston in my bracket going to the championship. Like, they are that good. Houston is a very good team. This is probably the best Houston team we've seen over the past few years, in my opinion. I think this Houston team is really dangerous. It's just, I didn't expect that out of Texas A&M. I knew they had some star guards that could light it up, but not in that fashion. When I saw Tominaga hit his first 3 threes, it just felt like it was going to be that kind of a game where Tominaga was going to carry Nebraska in a legacy game. And it just didn't turn out that way. And now Nebraska loses. Hoiberg did get the extension before the game, though, so he's locked in. News today, I believe, Romelo Lloyd Jr. and Eli Rice.
Eli Rice,
Yeah, both of them are going to be leaving. So I guess before we get any further, what are your guys' thoughts on that? Because I know a lot of Husker fans are kind of mad about Rice leaving because he could have had a pretty big role this upcoming year. What are your thoughts on those two departures?
Yeah, I was surprised by Eli Rice entering the transfer portal. He was a guy who, while he didn't play much, and obviously the ankle sprain held him out for the last 2 months of the season, but in the few minutes he got per game, I really saw some potential in there with him. I really liked his play. It was something that I feel like if he didn't get injured, I think he could have saw an increase in minutes as the year went on, as February and March went around. And yeah, that one very surprised me, just given a chance, maybe to develop over the summer. Obviously, with guys leaving, might get a chance at more minutes. So definitely a little disappointed in that one. Romelo Lloyd is one that I kind of saw coming, especially, he hasn't seen the court in 2 years at Nebraska, which it's very unfortunate that he didn't pan out here in Lincoln, because I remember when he was coming in as a true freshman, he certainly had some potential there.
The Rice one was definitely the most surprising. That was the one that was getting a lot of attention on social media. I agree. Rice could have had a pretty big role coming up this next year. But then again, it's just like, it's not that big of a loss. It sucks, but Nebraska can easily replace him. So I'm not too worried about it. It's just the fact that they lost a guy that was kind of in-house, and you don't usually want to lose those kind of guys. You want to get them in the organization, get them on the team when they're younger, freshmen, and kind of develop them. And before he got a chance to really get significant minutes, he leaves. So, but at the end of the day, this was a season to remember. If you would have said at the beginning of the year that Nebraska would have been an 8 seed in the tournament, they would have beat Purdue and Wisconsin, I mean, we would have taken that. We would have taken that. After we beat Purdue and Wisconsin, we then started seeing this team in a different light. This team was projected to be one of the worst teams in the Big Ten. One of the worst teams in the Big Ten. And yet they somehow got on the other side, and they were a top 3 team in the Big Ten tournament. Beat Indiana, had a first half lead against Illinois, easily could have won that game to get to the Big Ten championship, and lost to a team that almost knocked off one of the best teams in the nation, Houston. It sucks. It was a bitter loss. We saw the emotion come out of Keisei Tominaga after the game. But the future still feels bright. Hoiberg's got this team in a good spot, and you can't be mad about the season. You could be a little disappointed they weren't able to get it done, but you still have to feel pretty good about this team. Do you have any final thoughts before we go to the women's team?
Yeah, just looking at the future, Keisei and Josiah Alec, the big 2 leaving. But, you still have guys like Bryce Williams, Juwan Gary. I mean, Bryce Williams has been playing his best ball of the season, I think, in the postseason. He had 23 points in both Big Ten tournament games, led Nebraska with 24 points against Texas A&M. Really like what I saw from him these past 3 games. Rake Mass, Jamarcus Lawrence. Again, you were mentioning in-house guys. I think Lawrence is the only scholarship player that has stayed now his whole career there with Rice entering the transfer portal. Obviously, I have like Sam Hoiberg and Cale Jacobson, but those are walk-on players. So, and you've seen strides with Lawrence throughout this year.
Yeah.
Probably back in that starting lineup, at least at this point next year.
He definitely should be.
And then, with Rice and Lloyd transferring out, that frees up some scholarships to attack the portal. Fred Hoiberg always attacks the portal throughout his time in Nebraska. Really paid off this past year, and now they have a chance to, get some more better players.
Again, that's why I'm not too concerned about Rice leaving, is because I think they can. It's not like he was this star-studded player that was gonna, be a starter from Nebraska like day one next season. Like he could have been a significant piece, but not a piece that was going to put Nebraska over the top or anything like that. So I think they can easily replace him. We'll have to see, though, how Hoiberg does during the offseason. Let's now switch to the women's team. After beating Texas A&M in the first round, lost to a good Oregon State team. And first thing I just want to bring up was the post-game press conference with Josh Shelley. That was awesome. If you haven't listened to it, listen to it. Again, a lot of emotion shown. She was grateful for her time at the university. And she honestly, she did more for this team with in Amy Williams' career than honestly anything else. Like, this was the first tournament win we ever got to see at Amy Williams here at Nebraska. Josh Shelley did that. She really did. Like, Markowski didn't have great games in the tournament. A lot of it was Josh Shelley, and she really showed out. It's still like I'm more excited about the women's team though next year than I am the men's team next year, because this women's team is actually pretty young.
Oh yeah.
Outside of Markowski, who's going to be a senior next year, they have a lot of young pieces to work with. So, and they have Britt Prince coming in, one of the top recruits. Like, there's going to be potential with this team. That's why Amy Williams got the extension. Before we jump into the future, just can you talk about their NCAA tournament run? I don't even know if I want to say run. It was just one win, but just their two games they played.
Just very competitive first game against Texas A&M.
Mm-hmm.
And the Aggies made a comeback late, but Nebraska was able to hold on. And a lot of it was due to the play of Logan Nisley, who I have just been incredibly impressed with throughout this past month of the year. She's a freshman, this was her freshman year here, which just shows how bright the future is for Nebraska with Natalie Potts, Big Ten Freshman of the Year, and then Nisley really, really coming to her own as of late. Scored 16 points, hit 4 3-pointers, and hit 2 clutch free throws in the final minute of that game to propel Nebraska to victory. And then Oregon State, it was just a rough game shooting wise for them. 4 of 20 from 3. That was something they really struggled with in both games. In Corvallis, 6 of 21 in the first game, and Nisley had 4 of them. So very, very hard game shooting, but overall, you got that win. You got that tournament win. Amy Williams has that now, under her belt. And she's also extended going forward. So it's a lot to look forward to.
Sorry. I was just gonna say it was just really fun to watch them in this tournament. Something that I've noticed in both the Big Ten, well, I guess all season, is just like their fight and ability to close out games, which is something that Nebraska doesn't always do. But I feel like that they, like the Texas A&M game, it was just got super close in the end. Unfortunately, they have lost their lead, and so it got really close. But they just kept fighting, and they probably had the same mindset as they did when they, went against Iowa and had to go into overtime, and they just kept that momentum. Sometimes, not all games they do that, but that game, they were able to close it out. And then I don't know, Oregon just was on fire. Oregon State was on fire that day, and they just couldn't keep up defensively, but they still had that competitiveness, and they should still be proud of their season.
They're running the Big Ten tournament and winning their first round game. It's made me change my opinion a little bit about Amy Williams. I wasn't high on her, but she's got this team in a good spot. They're bringing in they have a lot of young talent, bringing in even more young talent next year. Got Markowski still next year. They have a chance to do even better next year. Honestly, Jazz Shelley leaving is going to hurt, but I feel like they have enough talent to be able to overcome that. And again, if you would have told me that they would have won their first round of the NCAA tournament coming into the year when they weren't even ranked, that would have been pretty good. Like, this was the expectation last year when they were ranked last year. But then injuries kind of derailed that season, with Allison Widener. They maybe had some injuries. So it was tough. Allison Widener got hurt again this year. That's a name I forgot about.
Oh, yeah.
Widener can come back next year.
Yep.
And she was a huge part of this team the first half of last year. I'm getting my years mixed up. 2 seasons ago, she was a big part of the team before she got hurt on both ends of the court. So this team has a lot of talent coming back next year. Again, Jazz Shelley leaving is going to hurt, but they can replace it. And it's definitely, I'm excited because I feel like I think Nebraska has a chance to be one of the best teams in the Big Ten next year. Like, is that a stretch?
I don't think so. I definitely see that as a possibility. I mean, just looking at their roster, they have so many key pieces returning. I mean, Jazz Shelley, big loss. Darian White, big loss. But, you have players like Potts, Nisley, Jessica Petrie, the 3 freshmen on the team all played big minutes their
Callan
first
Hake.
year. Yeah, Callan Hake and Kendall Moriarty, 2 great, defensive players that can shoot the 3. Kendall Cooley, another good key defensive player. So there's so much going for him. And then the addition of Britt Prince, 5-star recruit, won back-to-back state titles at
Elkhorn 4 in a row.
North.
He didn't say that. 4 in a row.
It shows just a lot of potential on this team.
Yeah. Before we throw it to break, next segment, we're going to get into more March Madness outside of just Nebraska. But overall, were you pleased with the 2 Husker basketball programs? Because I feel like this is the best the 2 teams have been in a while. I mean, honestly.
Yeah, I was pleased with them. I mean, you would have liked to see men's basketball, finally get that win, but it's their first tournament appearance in exactly a decade.
Yeah.
So, you gotta be okay with that. They blew their expectations out of the water. And then the women's team getting their first win under Amy Williams, making all the way to the Big Ten championship game, nearly winning that. It was basketball is really at an all-time high for Nebraska, at least from now compared to just the past 10 years, since pretty much all the 2000s. It's really definitely the best year of Nebraska's basketball.
See, I'm glad we had this show today on a Monday and not like Friday night or Saturday, because after the game, I was like, Nebraska basketball is cursed. Men's team is cursed. They're never going to win. But I'm intrigued. I think it's going to depend on how Hoiberg attacks the offseason, because he's going to have to make additions. He can't just keep the same players, lose Tamanaga, and expect a different result. Stuff is going to have to change. Do you think if Hoiberg really doesn't get any more talent and kind of just keeps what he got, do you feel like this team could improve within enough? I mean, there is young players like Bryce Williams that could get better, Jamarcus Lawrence who could get better, but I just don't they're going to have to add somebody. I don't think they can have enough internal development to get that much better to where they can win a tournament game.
Yeah, I think that the 2 big things to target in the transfer portal, I think maybe just a ball handler, a lead guard
outside of Bryce Williams.
Yeah, Aaron Eulis, they're hoping for him to be eligible next year. He was going to be kind of that true point guard for Nebraska, so maybe they'll be fine with him if he's able to play. And then another thing, I think they just really need a physical big man. I mean, especially with Alec gone, you saw in the latter half of Big Ten play, Rank Mass wasn't having his best games, wasn't really playing like a big man that much. It was really Josiah Alec kind of taking over that role, just getting down and dirty inside. So I think definitely, maybe target just another center, maybe move Mass to a 4 or something like that. But yeah, I think this team, it's returning a lot of players that they could definitely make it back to the tournament. I think that they might just need, another guy or 2 that could really just help propel that team and make up for the loss of Casey and Josiah Alec.
I agree. And I got nothing else to add because we got to go to break. You're listening to the Daily Nebraskan Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Next segment, we'll touch on other March Madness talk outside of Nebraska right here on 93.7 The Ticket.
Ready to upgrade your combine in 2024? The team at Landmark Implement is here to help you find the right combine to fit your operations needs. Choose from 4.9% for up to 60 months or a 12-month interest waiver, followed by John Deere financial rates with approved credit through the end of March. When you purchase a pre-owned S or X Series combine from Landmark, know you are backed by Landmark's extensive parts and service network with mobile techs and parts drop-off points to keep you up and running. View our current inventory online at landmarkimp.com or stop by your local Landmark to experience the Landmark difference.
Electrical Enterprises in Roca reminds you, the men and women of our military dedicate themselves to serving our country. Their commitment and courage keep our country safe and strong. Let us honor those who've lost their lives in the line of duty and salute those serving today. This from Electrical Enterprises in Roca. For all your residential and commercial electrical construction needs, call 402-438-5822. We live in the land of the free thanks to the brave.
Jake Sorensen here for The Body Shop. My wife is nearing her due date with our first child and has been in need of a good massage as her body continues to change and adapt. Dennis and the team at The Body Shop were incredible with the prenatal massage that she's still talking about today. I was also able to get a deep tissue massage, so it was a great bonding experience and a unique couples massage in general. If you're in need of stress relief, book a massage today at thebodyshoplincoln.com. The Body Shop at 48th and A.
Spring often marks the beginning of severe weather, which can lead to power outages. LES wants you to be prepared before the storm. Restock your emergency kit, update your info with LES, and if you encounter an outage, report it at les.com/report.
Load up on meat and more this spring at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese at 84th and Havelock. This week's specials through March 26th is spend $25 and receive a free 10-ounce New York strip. Limit 4 per visit. And don't forget about lunch on Fired Up Friday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Locations on 84th and Havelock and 30th and Yankee Hill in Lincoln or 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
Spring is on its way. Are you prepared to keep the grass greener on your side? Blades Lawn and Landscape has a position opened at a homeowner association to their client list with residential and commercial openings also. Transform your yard into a private oasis with the professional services offered by Blades Lawn and Landscape, including landscape walls and beds and a 5-step fertilizer program applied by a licensed professional. Call them today at 402-730-6320 or go to bladeslcc.com to schedule a free estimate on commercial or residential lawn services.
Hi, it's Tom and Mike from Husker Rewind. And did you know that people who are represented by an attorney are often compensated up to 3 times more than someone who is not?
Friedman Law has been helping injured people for over 60 years. It's all they do. If you're ever seriously injured in an accident, call Friedman Law at 402-476-1093.
Friedman Law is a family firm that works hard for Nebraska families just like yours.
So if you're ever injured on the job or in a crash, contact Friedman Law at friedmanlaw.com.
Hello, this is Mary Pat Waite. I've had the privilege of working with Lincoln families as their realtor for more than 31 years, and I'm so proud to be associated with MP Dodge Real Estate. For me, your transaction is unique in its own way. My experience allows me to bring you trusted care and a really great outcome. My NP Dodge family shares the same client focus.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
Introducing The Outlet by Sartor Heyman. The Outlet brings you luxurious Sartor Heyman quality jewelry at unbeatable prices. Shop our expansive inventory of overstocked merchandise and a vast estate collection that just hasn't found its home yet. This is your chance to own stunning designer jewelry at a fraction of the cost. Elevate your style at The Outlet by Sartor Heyman, where luxury and affordability meet. Downtown at 12th and O or online at sartorheyman.com.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Back to The Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hello and welcome back to the Daily Nebraskan Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Ben, Anthony, Marissa, still here with you. We got half an hour left in the show. And this segment, we want to touch on the rest of March Madness because the Madness, first week of March Madness is over. Got a lot of weekends left as we just now got to the Sweet 16. But just initial thoughts, because this is the only thing that matters. Guys, how are your brackets doing?
Not good. In the DN bracket poll, I am tied for 12th, and I just counted, and I only have 9 of the 16 Sweet 16 teams. So
I think I'm about the same. So, we're kind of in the same boat, Anthony. It's all good. It's all good because, this tournament is the most chalky tournament we've had in a while. This is only the third time ever or something like that where every single 1 and 2 seed made the Sweet 16. I'm pretty sure. It's it hasn't happened that many times. This tournament has been very chalky and it's kind of been a little boring. I get it. Kentucky lost to Oakland, a team full of future accountants. I get that. That was quote unquote exciting. But other than that, I mean, I guess Yale beat Auburn. That one was exciting. The Colorado-Florida game was pretty good. But, I mean, we just haven't – I just want a 1 seed to lose, man. Where are the 1 seeds? I had Utah State beating Purdue, and why did Purdue actually look like a good basketball team that game? Am I wrong that is Purdue actually good this year?
I'm telling you, this is the team.
I still don't believe it. It's Purdue. I'm not going to believe it.
Is Purdue in your Final Four?
Nope.
Okay.
I have them in the Elite 8, but still have them exceeding the expectations. I didn't have them losing to a low seed, and I was right. That's the one win I got.
See, they could still – see, I am actually very confident. Everyone is disrespecting Gonzaga this year. I don't know why. What's up with all the Gonzaga hate? What did Gonzaga do?
I think it was just earlier in the year. They were
who cares?
They were way out of the picture. By mid-February, they were a bubble team. And, when you think of Gonzaga teams in the past, they're already in this 1, 2, 3 seed talk where as of now, people saw their game against Kentucky in mid-February as a must-win game for their tournament chances. They won that. And yeah, they were just a team. I had McNeese beating them, and I look stupid doing that.
Everyone that had McNeese beating Gonzaga, they know nothing about basketball. Sorry, Anthony. Gonzaga doesn't lose in the first round, especially not to McNeese. When I was doing my research for the tournament and I see all these bloggers saying that McNeese is going to beat Gonzaga, I was just like, what? They played the Mississippi University for women. Get me out of here. McNeese is not beating Gonzaga. I feel like Gonzaga is going to beat Purdue. I think they match up pretty good against them. That's kind of that's my first. I think that's going to be the first top seed that finally loses is Purdue against Gonzaga.
I could see it. I'm getting pretty high on Purdue, or at least more than most people. But I mean, how Gonzaga has been playing so far, win their first game by 21, win their second game by 21 against Kansas. While Kansas was extremely injured without a couple players still, they really dominated the second half of play. And they're really just carrying a bunch of momentum going in there. But so is Purdue. And I'm interested to see how Zach Edey matches up with them. So far, he has really been dominating the NCAA tournament so far.
Marissa, how about you? How's your bracket been doing?
Doing all right. I had Kansas in my Final Four, so that wasn't great. But I am 8th in the DN group, so a little higher than Anthony somehow. But
that means you know more about ball than Anthony. Good job.
Yep.
Yeah,
Way to go,
exactly
Marissa.
Being exposed out here.
What? I don't even know what place I'm in. 8th?
Yeah, I think we're tied.
Yeah, me and Marissa are tied. All right. I'm feeling good. I think, and I have higher max. So I have the best bracket out of us 3. I'm going to take that crown. I'm going to take a victory lap.
Who do you have winning?
UConn.
Oh, UConn. Okay.
UConn's the best team in the nation.
We all have UConn.
Yeah.
Very unfortunate for me and Marissa. If UConn does win, I think Ben gets the upper hand.
Yeah. You're not going to be able to pass me because I kind of have similar teams. But if Purdue beats Gonzaga, you'll be able to you'd be able to get me there. I have Gonzaga I have them losing to Tennessee, making Elite Eight, I believe. So I think Gonzaga's pretty good this year. I saw there was some ranking of the rest of the teams, and I saw Gonzaga was ranked like 11th, and I was like, really? You think there's 10 better teams in the tournament right now than Gonzaga? Like, I'm kind of hard pressed. Like, I'm gonna go through the list. Okay, they're not better than UConn. I think they're better than San Diego State.
Yeah.
Illinois is probably better than them. Iowa State didn't look that good. I'm sorry, they just didn't. I know.
Is that your Washington State bias?
No, like they didn't look good. Iowa State did not look good. If Gonzaga and Iowa State would play, Gonzaga would win. I don't care. Iowa started the game like 1 of 12 from the field. Like they're just not that good. I don't get like there's just so much hype around them because whatever. I just don't even want to get into it. So they're not better than Iowa State. So UConn, Illinois, that's 2 teams. North Carolina, 3. I don't even think I wouldn't put Clemson above them, although they have looked pretty good. I'm still not a believer. Arizona probably above them, so that's 4 teams. Houston 5. I put Duke. Duke has been really good. Holy. Yeah. 6. I wouldn't put them above. I think they're better than Marquette. They're probably better than Purdue. I mean, yeah, they're probably around like 8 or 9. I would have Gonzaga above Creighton. I'm not that impressed by Creighton right now. They almost lost to Oregon, who only had like 2 players score in the entire second half. Which, can we get into that? Because I'm very mad that Oregon did not win that game. Yes, I'm biased because I don't like Creighton. But like, come on. Like, I couldn't get any of my upset picks. I had Oregon over Creighton. I had Washington State over Iowa State. And I had Utah State over Purdue. I was just like, can I get like 2 of the 3? I got too greedy. I should have said 1 of the 3. But then I didn't get any of them. Oregon loses in double overtime. Washington State somehow loses to Iowa State, who played terrible. And Utah State just didn't even look like a basketball team against Purdue. So it's just not a good day. But my brackets, I still have 3 of my Final 4 teams. I have both my championship teams. So my bracket's not terrible, but it's pretty mid. I got a mid bracket. But it's just I just don't like how chalky this tournament's been. Like it really hasn't been that exciting. I mean, I feel like, am I a hater?
I mean, I get it, and me too. You know, I like seeing the Cinderella story, like the St. Peter's, the Oral Roberts.
Like NC State is not a Cinderella team. Like what? They won the ACC.
But I think with all these high seeds advancing to the Sweet 16, I think it's going to lead to more competitive games. I think the round of 32, there was a lot of blowouts. Duke versus James Madison, Purdue versus Utah State. Like all these games like that. But I think that just is setting up for, some really great basketball where, one seed is playing a 4 seed. Wow, that sounds boring on paper. That's probably going to be, a very intense game. Whole lot better chance than, a 12 seed playing a 1 seed at this time in the Sweet 16. So I do wish that, there was like the ultimate underdog, a Cinderella, but I think this is really just shaping up to be a really good tournament going forward, not from storyline wise, but just from a pure basketball standpoint.
I don't know, man. I've been watching all the games and I haven't been having that much fun as in the past. I don't know. I actually like last year there was too many upsets. And now we don't got enough. Like we need the middle. Like we need the middle. Like we had like last year there was so many upsets. My bracket was done after like day 2. Like I was just like my bracket was just done. My bracket's still okay, but it's just like I don't know. There's been good games though. If you didn't get a chance to watch the Colorado-Florida game, that's probably been the best game of the tournament. The Houston-Texas A&M game, that one actually is probably the best. Texas A&M, Houston, Florida, Colorado. I'm trying to think what other game would probably be up there.
Creighton, Oregon,
probably. Yeah, but then again, they ended up losing by 10 or something like that. Even though it was a double overtime game.
Creighton just caught fire in the second overtime.
Yeah, I would say those were the best 3. I would say those are the 3 best games. So those 3 games are good, but it's just like, I don't know, man. Like I was really hoping the Michigan State North Carolina game would be better. It was just mid. Clemson beat Baylor, like whatever. Nobody cares. UConn just destroyed Northwestern as usual. Illinois destroyed Duquesne. Duke destroyed James Madison. NC State Oakland game. That was probably the most exciting second round game outside of the Houston Texas A&M game, and that was an 11 against the 14. That was future accountants against the team that against the ACC winner. So the Purdue game was boring. It was a competitive first 10 minutes. And then I stopped watching, and then all of a sudden I looked back and they were losing by like 20. I'm like, what just happened? But yeah, the Texas Tennessee game, that was underrated. That one was a pretty good game. But still, I don't know. It hasn't been a terrible tournament, but it's still just like I think I'm just biased because none of my upset picks hit. I think that's why I'm upset.
Yeah, I went too heavy on the upsets. I mean, the New Mexico team I was very high on just did not age well. The whole Mountain West has really struggled, except for San Diego State. But, you play a 12 and 13 seed in your 2 games, and they almost lost to that 12 seed. It was a pretty close game there as well. But, it's unfortunate for those. But, you still got moments. I mean, I'm going to forever remember Jack Golke in Oakland. Just the guy literally shot 8 2-pointers on the whole year. Like, he just catches and shoots no matter what. That's just his pure job, is to shoot threes. And they were going in at a high level, not as much against NC State as against Kentucky, but, he still had his moments, still had a nice 4-point play there, went to overtime. And NC State, even though they're the ACC champion, they really are just this Cinderella for this year. They're a team that was a 10 seed in their conference tournament, won 5 games in 5 days. You have players like DJ Burns, just an absolute beast. DJ Horn, they have all these guys that are, they're the hottest team in basketball right now. Beat Texas Tech, a good Texas Tech team. Beat Oakland, team fresh off a amazing upset. So, yeah, I'm riding with the Wolfpack.
Do you think NC State can beat Marquette?
I think so. I haven't been very impressed with Marquette.
Neither have I.
Especially, I feel like they were a little too highly seeded in the first place. I think that I see them more as a 3 seed than a 2.
They played pretty good against Colorado though, but NC State's been pretty good. But this is what I'm saying. So you're saying the Cinderella team is NC State. When the Cinderella team is the team that won the ACC, like, what are we doing? Like here, let me read you all the seed lines for the Sweet 16. 1 against the 5, 3 against the 2, 1 against the 4, 2 against the 6, 1 against the 4, 2 against the 11, and then 1 against 5, 3 against 2. Just how boring does that sound? How boring. And the 11 against the 2 is Marquette against NC State.
I don't know.
I'm still going to watch the games, but like, I'm not like excited about any of them. I'm going to be honest. Maybe Tennessee and Creighton is probably the most exciting game.
I feel like you just had to be there for the NC State watching the ACC tournament, because that was like a Cinderella story that started before March Madness.
I understand that. I get that. NC State, great story, but they still won the ACC. Like, where's this random team that no one's ever heard of? Like, where's the Prince? Like, okay, we've heard of Prince, but where's like the smart school that comes and beats like 2 Power 5 schools that like have been blue bloods?
Yale had the opportunity, but then they got destroyed by San Diego State.
I know. They could have beat the team that got to the national championship last year. They had a chance. Come on. Maybe the smarts, does IQ not translate to basketball? We'll have to see. But I'm just like, I get NC State. It's a good story. Like, I'm not dogging on NC State at all. I'm glad they got to Sweet 16. They've been a fun team to watch. But still, it's just like, I don't know. Like, out of all, like, what do you think is going to be the most exciting game? I think it's going to be Creighton, Tennessee. All these other games just don't really excite me that much. Houston, Duke should be pretty good. I think Houston's going to finally slow Duke's offense down. Duke doesn't play defense. Houston should win that. UConn's just going to roll San Diego State. They're going to roll all the way through to the national championship. Illinois, Iowa State's going to be the most boring game ever. North Carolina, Alabama has a chance to be kind of a shootout. Clemson's probably going to get rocked by Arizona. Tennessee and Creighton, I think that's probably the most exciting game. Purdue, I just don't like watching Purdue. I'm sorry. And then, yeah, I don't know. What do you think is going to be the most popular? What do you think is going to be the most exciting game out of all those?
Probably Tennessee, Creighton, just with how the 2 teams match up. I mean, storyline wise, you do have a rematch from last year's national title game, UConn versus San Diego State.
Whatever. No one cares.
Houston and Duke, that should be a fun one. The Houston Texas A&M game, that was probably my favorite game of the tournament so far.
Yeah, that was a great game.
And
I love that.
Just the Texas A&M coming back at the end, forcing overtime off the buzzer beater. I thought Texas A&M was going to win. I mean, just
when it went to overtime, Yeah.
Like, I mean, all of Houston, 4 out of 5 starters ended up fouling out for Houston. They had a 5th-year walk-on player drain some clutch free throws at the end, or drained one. He missed the first, putting ever more pressure on him, sinks the second. So I think that game really showed me, wow, I think Texas A&M honestly deserved to win just on how they played at the end of regulation. I think Houston definitely has a chance to maybe even be the favorite for the national championship, maybe behind UConn, but
it's still UConn.
Yeah, I don't
It's
have
still
Houston
UConn.
in my Final Four, but really after that game, just seeing the fight they've had with all the adversity they faced, I could definitely see them making.
Who'd you have them losing to?
Kentucky.
You had a team that doesn't play defense beating Houston. That's crazy to me.
I blame Coach Cal.
Okay, that's another topic for another day. How much longer? Like how many more times can he get upset in March Madness before he's gone?
Honestly, unlimited. That lifetime deal he's on, like
I don't know, man. That
if
lifetime
I'm a
deal's
Kentucky
got-
fan,
it's got to run out.
I'm really
eventually.
mad.
This is Kentucky, man. They are a blue blood, and they can't be losing to future accountants like this. I'm sorry. This is like second time in 3 years. They lost to St. Peter's. No one's heard of St. Peter's before this game. And then everyone thought Oakland is from California. They're from Michigan, I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
I learned that like
I thought it was California.
yeah. See, Marissa didn't even know. Like they're from they're the best team out of Michigan this year. like what are we doing, man? What are we doing? Man, I really wish Oakland would have beat NC State. Oakland was that would have been fun. That would have been fun. I want to watch future accountants go all the way. I don't know. We got that to break. that was good segment. Good segment. I'm just disappointed because, like, if Texas A&M would have beat Houston, even though that would have screwed my bracket up, I'd be like a lot happier because I just I want to see a 1 seed go down, man. I just want to see it. I don't. How many years ago was when Loyola Chicago beat Illinois? That was so much fun to watch. I don't remember who their big was, but it was Loyola Chicago had a white big guy against Kofi Coburn, and he was just
Cameron Crutway.
Yeah, and he was just cooking Coburn. Like that was so much fun to watch. And we got to see Sister Jean like every other shot on the pan.
We just need Loyola Chicago in the tournament.
Where are they? I'm missing them. They're I always pick them to go far because it's Loyola Chicago.
Dude, their run as an 11 seed in like 2018, I believe. That's still my all-time favorite Cinderella run there. That was when
the St. Peter's one was pretty good.
It was cool, but like, I don't know. It was just a new player stepping up every game for them, hitting a clutch shot. Yeah, you know what? I do miss these Cinderellas. NC State is fun. DJ Burns is a March Madness legend. But man, I do need a little mid-major school in my life.
I just want some random school no one's ever heard about to go far. I just want that so bad. Like when Princeton beat Arizona last year, I think I had Arizona like in the finals. So I was like so mad, but it was still so awesome. Like when St. Mary's lost to Grand Canyon, it hurt my heart because I had them in the Final Four, but it's still like, yes, this is March. And it's just like, I don't know, man. It's just not as exciting as other years. But with that, we got to throw it to break. When we come back, we're going to finish with some Husker baseball and softball talk, just recapping the weekend. We're going to do that right here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric brings exciting career opportunities for you or someone you know. They are now hiring plumbers, electricians, and HVAC techs and installers to continually build their professional team. They offer competitive pay and full benefits packages that include health, dental, vision, PTO, and 401k options. Action has created a positive team environment for over 50 years. Apply online at actionlincoln.com.
Are you searching for a helping hand in life? Look no further. Integrated Behavioral Health Services is your answer. They're your compassionate, trusted partners committed to guiding you from challenges to triumphs. Their licensed professionals offer personalized therapy for individuals, couples, and families. At IBHS, the focus is you. Experience a life-changing transformation in an environment tailored to your unique needs. Visit ibhealthservices.com today and take that first step towards a brighter future. Discover the power of healing with Integrated Behavioral Health Services. You're not alone. Let them walk this journey with you.
Mosaic is a nonprofit, whole-person healthcare organization that embraces God's call and relentlessly pursues opportunities that empower people with diverse needs to live their best lives. Mosaic in Southeast Nebraska, serving Lincoln and Beatrice, would like to invite you to their monthly Discover the Possibilities tour events. Events are held on the third Wednesday of every month and are a great way to understand Mosaic's mission. To RSVP, please contact Melindy at 402-429-0088 or visit mosaicinfo.org/Southeast Nebraska.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now, they've raised wages again, and they're hiring for production operators at $24.62 per hour, which grows to $28.97 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $33.36 per hour, with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates, with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more or apply, go to continentaljobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
The Muscular Dystrophy Association holds a special place in the heart of USTOP.
Every year, we fill our windows with shamrocks from USTOP patrons all across Nebraska.
All proceeds from the shamrocks go directly to the Muscular Dystrophy Association to continue research and help the fight.
Stop into USTOP today and buy a shamrock.
And on March 17th, Mark's birthday and St. Patty's Day, USTOP will match funds earned from that day's shamrock sales. Happy birthday, Mark!
Spring often marks the beginning of severe weather, which can lead to power outages. LES wants you to be prepared before the storm. Restock your emergency kit, update your info with LES, and if you encounter an outage, report it at les.com/report.
Agriculture is the economic engine of the Midwest. At Acres Equipment, we dedicate ourselves to making that engine run smoothly. We supply our farmers and ranchers with quality John Deere equipment, parts, and service. We also deliver the most advanced technology and precision ag strategies to help them farm today and for the future. Acres Equipment, solutions for every field.
What do you think of when you hear the chocolate season? Artisan chocolates? Of course, they have the best chocolates this side of the Atlantic. Friendly neighborhood coffee shop? Yup, they're that too. A nationally recognized top-tier brunch spot. Waffle weekends, baby. And the place to grab a gift for literally any occasion? Everybody loves chocolate. See for yourself at the Chocolate Season, 40th and Old Cheney, or order ahead online at thechocolateseason.com.
Introducing The Outlet by Sartor Heyman. The Outlet brings you luxurious Sartor Heyman quality jewelry at unbeatable prices. Shop our expansive inventory of overstocked merchandise and a vast estate collection that just hasn't found its home yet. This is your chance to own stunning designer jewelry at a fraction of the cost. Elevate your style at The Outlet by Sartor Heyman, where luxury and affordability meet. Downtown at 12th and O or online at sartorheyman.com.
A lot of work goes into making Nebraska, Nebraska. Keeping it green. Helping it thrive. Making it fun. Everything that goes into caring for our outdoors, from waters to wildlife, plays a big role in making Nebraska home. Learn how we help conserve our state's natural resources at outdoornebraska.org.
Paid for by Nebraska Game and Parks. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hello and welcome back for one last segment of the Daily Nebraskan Show right here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. We're going to wrap the show up just with some spring sports talk, baseball, softball, Big Ten play. It's here. It's going to be here before we know it. Baseball, what'd you say, Marissa? They're on a 7-game winning streak?
Yeah.
They beat all the games against Nichols. I think that's how it's pronounced. Then they beat Omaha, then beat North Dakota State, then beat New Mexico State 2 times. Probably would have been an 8-game winning streak, but then the game on Sunday got canceled due to weather. I saw that on my feed. But so their next game is tomorrow against number 23 Kansas State. If Nebraska could beat them, they'll be ranked. Like 100% they'll be ranked.
A lot of people, including myself, think that they should be ranked already. I mean, the 7-game win streak, they're ranked top 10 in RPI.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just a game that if they are able to pull it off in Manhattan, I think for sure, barring any mishaps at Northwestern, not too concerned about that series for them. But with how they've been playing at this point, I think they could definitely be ranked at this time next Monday.
Yeah, baseball, like there's kind of a lot of excitement around baseball. I think Husker baseball has a chance to be pretty good this year. We can go to softball. Softball trying to bounce back. They're 18-13 overall. Again, their game on Sunday, I believe, was canceled, just like the baseball game. Over the weekend, though, they lost on Wednesday to Omaha 5-2, but then they beat Illinois. They're in Big Ten play already. They beat Illinois both times. So I think if softball can dominate Big Ten play like they usually do, they'll be sitting in a pretty good spot. I feel like this is kind of how softball goes. It's like they struggle early season because they have a lot of tough games, but then they get the Big Ten play, and they usually win like 2 out of 3 games, like every time.
Yeah, I think that's the same thing. The Jordy Ball injury, first week of the year, maybe kind of took them off their game a little bit in non-conference play. But now, winning 2 against Illinois, again, probably would have won the 3rd one if it weren't to be canceled. I think that, they're getting hot at the right time. And these are the games that really matter, playing Wisconsin in a series this weekend. So, yeah, it should be fun to watch.
With that, we're going to wrap things up here at Daily Nebraskan Show. Short last segment, but we kind of ran out of time. We went a little long on me being disappointed with March Madness, but, it's going to be fine because I'm going to be, when this weekend gets here, I'm going to be excited about it. So it's going to be great. But with that, we're going to wrap things up here with the Daily Nebraskan Show right here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. We'll be right back here, same time tomorrow, 11 to 12. It'll be me and Joseph. Don't know what we're going to talk about yet, but you know what? We always find out. No matter what, we can come in here not knowing what to talk about. We'll find something. Probably going to talk some NFL because there's some interesting stuff going on in the NFL. And there's
the new AD, too.
Yeah, and the new AD. We talked about that a little bit on Thursday's show, but we can get into that more.
Yeah, it's press conference.
Yeah, to get to press conference. So, a lot to talk about. We'll do that tomorrow, 11 to 12. Until then, see ya.
What do you think of when you hear the chocolate season? Artisan chocolates? Of course. They have the best chocolates this side of the Atlantic. Friendly neighborhood coffee shop? Yup, they're that too. A nationally recognized top-tier brunch spot. Waffle weekends, baby.